Hello, HokkuBokkus. One thing I love doing is finding ways you can complete Zelda games by doing all possible things that cannot be undone. Destroying all bomb walls, or also known as weak walls, is one of the things in A Link to the Past that cannot be undone. They do not respawn. Do you know all the bombable walls in A Link to the Past? And do you know how many there are? I feel like I know the game very well, and I'm sure many of you think that you do too. Let's go over all the bombable walls and see if you can name them before I do. We'll start with the overworld ones, then I'll go one dungeon at a time. Do you know how many are in each one? Starting with the light world. Kakariko, we have the Kakariko Well. We have the Thieves Hideout Basement. The Chicken House. The Mysterious Hut. And the Twins House. Then we have Sahasrara's Hut. And in the Great Swamp, there's the North Cave with the ferry, the Mini Moldorn Cave, there's the Ice Rod Cave like the main one, and then there's one to the side, of course. And while we're here, did you know that some of these rocks that you pick up, those also can't be undone after you pick them up if there was a cave in them? Do you know how many there are in the game? I might as well tell you later at the end of the video. Moving on, we have the desert in Agina's cave. And then in the Death Mountain in Paradox Cave, there's the one on the left with the shop. And there's the one after you do the drop. Then we have the Graveyard Ledge. Then we have the cave in the Pond of Happiness in Lake Hylia. In the Dark World, there's Sahasrara's Hut again, but the Dark World one. Ice Rod Cave, but again, the Dark World. In the Village of Outcasts in the Brewery. In the Plains of Ruins, we have the same cave to the north. This cave is known as Hype Cave. There's a weak wall for the entrance, and then a weak wall in the inside too. Then on Death Mountain, we have the Hookshot Cave. There's the main entrance, the one all the way at the top. Then you have this room that's like a plus. There are two here. There's one on the north, one on the west side. On the east side is a fake one. And then after you enter this room, the one to the north is a fairy room. And the last one in the overworld of the Dark World is, of course, the Cursed Fairy. You can't use the regular bomb, you have to use the big bomb. I'm pretty sure this counts. Now we have the dungeons. First, Hyrule Castle. You can only get here by dropping through the graveyard. This is the room with the 3 chests. There are 2 bombable walls here. After this, I didn't find any bombable walls in the first 3 dungeons of the game in the Light World. Now we're going to go to the Dark World dungeons. First, the Palace of Darkness. I would like to mention though that the bridge with the hole, this doesn't count because this does respawn. The first one I get to is the one after the portal by the anti-fairy. Then in the Bari hallway, and again, there's another one in the ground, this doesn't count. Then you have the room with the map. There's the one on the left, there's a bomb here with the treasure chest, which is a key, and then the one to the right is a fairy room. Then after the dark room maze, of course this is the wall that opens the big chest. Next, we have Swamp Palace. In the second room, there's a bombable wall for the map chest. Then there's another one by the switch that leads to the pot ledge. Then the 3 ladders in the room before the boss, there's a bombable wall in the middle ladder. Skull Woods, the drop that leads to behind the big chest. And then behind the big chest, there's this wall that explodes. I don't know if that counts. I don't know if you count it actually as a bombable wall, which I guess it does because it explodes, right? Then there's this one small room with some magic inside. In Thieves Town, on the top left tile, it's on the right side. And then when you go through that hole and then you go up north, there's another wall right there, right on the top. In Misery Mire, all at the end, in the dark room, around the conveyor belt, there's some rupees in this room. Which when you go all the way around, it shows you that you can use the bomb wall here to lead to the room with the switch. Or back into the room with the rupees. In Turtle Rock, the room with the eyes. And there's a room with a HokkuBokkus. There's 2 bombable walls here. And the last one in Turtle Rock is all the way down Laser Bridge. This one leads just to the outside, onto the balcony, just so Link can get some fresh air. In Ganon's Tower, there's a room with all the portals. The hole is to the left side. And after you go in this room, there's a switch that explodes the wall to the north. Does that count? I guess it does. It doesn't respawn, so sure, and it explodes. Then after you fight Ice Armos, the room to the west, there's a bombable wall north of that. Then there's this long bridge with a gap. You can see the bombable wall to the south. I never knew how to get here as a child, but now I know you have to bonk the tile to jump over. And there's a fairy and some pots. And the final room would be the room with the giant blade trap that goes back and forth on top of the conveyor belt. That makes a total of 48, or actually it's 51 if you count the cursed fairy and the 2 exploding walls. And like I mentioned earlier, there are the big rock holes that also do not respawn. Do you know how many there are? First, we have the desert entrance with the rupee cave. Then we have the ice rod cave one. Then we have the same one but in the dark world. Then in the dark world we have Hookshot Cave. And finally, Checkboard Cave that you get to from the swamp. And while I'm at it, there's also Bonk Rocks. There's only 3 in the game that you can get to. Do you know the 3? The first one I'll mention, of course, is west of the sanctuary. That one you probably know if you're 100% of the game because there's a heart piece in there. Then there's the one next to Link's house that has fairies in it. And the third and last one would be the same one but in the dark world. Those are basically all the holes in the game that stay open once you open them. I don't know who would want to know this information, but I really wanted to know. I hope this helps you make sure you do everything possible or at least satisfies your curiosity. And if you want more collecting information like this for Zelda games, I hope you consider subscribing or at least checking out the channel. Thank you so much for watching and I'll see you next time!